For those of us who are not fortunate enough to be in KwaZulu-Natal for the running of South Africa's most famous thoroughbred horse race, of course the VODACOM Durban July, it is July in Josie. And whilst we're up here in Johannesburg, it's an opportunity to take a walk to the jockey room and find out exactly what PIERE Strydom thinks. He's the jockey that's ridden the most winners in the history of South African jockeys. And he's got quite a few options open to him. I'm not quite sure that he has the winning ride, but I know that he has options as far as the Derek Brugman selection is concerned, and those will include the colours of Marcus and Ingrid Jooste, Rabada, and of course a horse called Deo Giventi, who might not get an invitation, and then of course there's Saint-Tropez, who is in all probability likely to be the ride of Anton Marcus. But let's cut the cackle, go to the jockey room and find out from PIERE Striker Strydom what he thinks of the running of the 2016 VODACOM Durban July.
Andrew, there's no race like the July in South Africa. Everyone talks about it. Being the winning jockey it just makes it so much more exciting, you know, and you get well wishes basically almost through the year until the next year arrives. So it's a really special race.
Fate dealt you a very, very handsome blow in the Investec Derby, where you were promised the ride on Black Arthur. You ended up on It's My Turn. You ended up winning the race. You got to say that with a PIERE Strydom optimism that hopefully the same thing will happen to you this year.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable the way it's worked out. I thought I was going to ride Black Arthur, then in Cape Town I ended up getting a ride on It's My Turn, and that won, beating Black Arthur. So obviously coming the Durban season, the Snaith promised me one of the two, which I thought, well, that's fantastic. But then I fell, so obviously Anthony won on Black Arthur, and that was his ride. So I thought I'd ride It's My Turn, but when I just came back and, well, I didn't get the ride. And, you know, loyalty, because that's where I'm going at the moment, loyalty. So then I won on Magdalago, so I thought that maybe I'll ride that. But in the meantime, I had confirmed with Derek Brugman, because the weights just weren't in my favour. And then I got offered the rides again on Black Arthur and It's My Turn, and I think I would like to have picked one of those two, because, you know, they both run well. They're young horses, they can improve, and but you know, that's the way it's worked out. Maybe it's working out for me. You know, maybe those two horses don't produce the goods, and maybe one of the Jooste horses finally comes home and I'm on the right one. Obviously Anton's still got to pick which one, so I don't even have the first pick. So it's a look, going on form, there's very, very little difference in form between the whole field. It's the most open July field I've seen. I don't think anything stands out. If you had to ask me for a short list, I would probably lean towards It's My Turn and Black Arthur. And solid speed. Most people have written solid speed off. He's beaten most of these runners, and he's better off at the weight. But Anthony's picked Bella Bella. I'm sure he could have picked had the choice, and he's happy with Bella Bella, the way she travels in the race and quickens up really well, better than the two colts. So maybe we've got to go with Anthony's choice here.
The interesting thing for me is that the draws list to come out, and we know that with 18 runners at Grable on this narrow track.
Yeah, the July's always a rough race, because you tend to go faster than what you should in the beginning, because you know, everyone wants to have position, and because it's such a big field and it's a July, it's crazy the pace we go in the beginning. But you would think that, oh, maybe I should just sit at the back, but you can't make it up, because it's a small, narrow track into the straight, short straight, big field. So if you're at the back, you're going to find trouble most of the time. I just hope that this year the false rail is not out as far, because we were all forced to make our runs on the outside. And as you're getting going, just before the straight, you know, it's a short straight, you want to start getting your horse into, start rolling and into a stride. You know, the guys start moving early and they're looking for a clear run, so they move out. And if you on the outside and towards the back, you're forced to move out as well. You could get lucky and switch in, but you don't always have a clear run, and especially in such a short straight.
Well, at least we know one thing. When you go and ride in a VODACOM Durban July, you accumulate all these years of experience, all this brilliance that PIERE Strydom has, and a boer maak 'n plan. You go out to win that race at all costs.
Yeah, look, it's a wild race, and everyone's desperate to win that race. So safety sometimes is thrown out of the box, you know. So, but I've learned, like you said, through the years. I think I might have missed one July in the last 25 years. So I've picked up enough experience, sort of know what really goes, what happens out there, and you know, try and avoid all those little mishaps.
The final question I've got to ask you has got nothing to do with form. It's got to do with the experience of the VODACOM Durban July, because as we all know, if there's a course that's close to Happy Valley in terms of the immediate proximity of the crowd and the fact that the rail is now transparent where the starting stalls are positioned, and I'm sure that hundreds of people gather there for this once a year experience, it must be almost surreal for you as a jock.
Yeah, almost getting goose flesh already. You know, obviously I've come back from a fall, and on the outside now, there used to be walls, so the public could never see from. I'm talking about the backstretch and around the turn. Now all of a sudden people can look through, so I can just imagine what the vibe will be. You know, people want to see the start. I mean, we're ringing at the start for everyone, you know, the race of the July itself. So we're definitely going to build up a good crowd at the start.
The melting pot of studying form all boils down to having the most amount of information at your fingertips. Where do you get that?
Well, I study computer form because that's obviously where you get all your information, and a lot it's from memory because I watch horses I race against. Obviously, I ride my own horses and try and work out there. But when I want to go to the next level, there's only one website, and that's Form Grids. Form Grids actually makes it so simple that you can do collateral form. When you think a horse can win, it's run second and third, but you go and find another horse and it's run further back, but it's run against so much stronger field. That must be such an advantage. So I must say, Form Grids, great job.
I must tell you that I went to your old primary school, Altoona, and they said to me, it's fantastic for striker because he can't really read. It's all about colours.
No, don't worry. I can read. I look at the colours, but it's about lengths behind.